Hello dear students, I hope you are fine and doing well. So as in yesterday's lecture, which was the first lecture for second part of gravitation chapter, because first part we have covered before UT and I was giving you the brief revision. We have studied in yesterday's lecture about thrust and pressure. Let me give you a brief revision. Perpendicular force to a surface is known as thrust and pressure is defined as force per unit area. Today we are going to discuss about the applications of pressure. There are so many applications of pressure, the things which are around us and we are using them, but we never paid attention to them minutely. I will start with simple applications. First of all, knife. Knife is very simple application in which you had seen that one side is very sharp comparing to the other side. If I will design a knife like this, the grip. So one side is very sharp. So sharp side is for decreasing the area. So lesser the area, we know that lesser the area, greater the pressure, because we know that pressure is equal to force upon area. We apply force downward with the help of handle and area is less, so we are having huge pressure and we can cut the things very easily. On the same operation, scissors also work. The second application of pressure is thumbnail. If you have seen thumbnail, then you might have noticed that it has one broader side where we press from thumb, and on the other side we are having very pointed tip. So this pointed tip is having very small area. So which generates very high pressure. And if I put this thumb into the drawing board or the display board, this nail will go into the soft wood of that board. Similarly, at number 3, you might have seen in railway track the lines of the railway. Suppose these are the two lines of railway, then you might have seen these lines are resting on concrete or wooden sleepers. What these sleepers are doing, they are actually increasing the area of the line. If we are not going to use these sleepers, then the area of the line is very less, shown in blue color, and the railway track lines may go deep into the soft mud or the land. But with the help of use of these sleepers, the red area which I am showing is representing the effective area of the weight which will distribute on these sleepers will increase. So this will help reducing the pressure on the ground, and the railway lines will not sink into the ground, will not go deep into the ground, because we have increased the area and the pressure is decreased. There are other applications also. Yesterday I discussed with you the broader straps of your bag helps in reducing the pressure on your shoulders. Similarly, we are having the large size of camel feet helps him in walking on the sand, because on sand if area is large, the pressure will get reduced. If area is increased, the pressure will reduce and the feet of camel will not go deep into the sand. Similarly, if we want to walk on sand, we need broader shoes. If we are using shoes which are having larger area, then our feet will not go deep into the sand. If we are using shoes which are having larger area. On the other hand, if we are going without any shoes, so area of our feet is less and our feet will go down into the sand. So these applications of pressure are everywhere. So you can have a look around and you can also look for other applications. So after the application of pressure and area, the next point is buoyancy. The definition of buoyancy and the concept of buoyancy will lead you to the concept of Archimedes principle and law of flotation. So it is very important. What is buoyancy? So try to understand the definition of buoyancy. Whenever an object is placed in some fluid, it experiences an upward force which is equal to weight of fluid displaced by object. So the remaining motto of this lecture is to make you understand what is buoyancy and what this definition means. So whenever an object is placed in some fluid, it experiences an upward force which is equal to weight of fluid displaced by the object. Consider a beaker in which water is there. If you will put a metal cube in this, obviously it will sink, it is heavy, it will tie it to a rope. This metal cube is having volume V, it is inside this fluid, and the density of the fluid is rho. So what is the buoyancy here? We know that there are two components working here. One is the weight of the box or the cube. Let us say that is W, which is equal to mg. Second thing is the buoyancy, and we know that buoyancy is an upward force. So the buoyant force will work upward. Both are vector quantities. Weight is vector and buoyancy is also vector. So by definition, buoyancy is an upward force which is equal to weight of fluid. Now how we will calculate weight of fluid? Let me tell you a relation between mass and weight and density and weight, mass. We know that weight or W is equal to mg, one relation which we have been studying in our 10th chapter in free fall and equations of motion. Second, what is density? Density we generally represent by symbol rho or also represent by d. It is defined as mass per unit volume. So if I will multiply my density with volume, I will get my mass. The unit of density is kilogram per meter cube, because the unit of mass is kg and unit of volume is meter cube. Here when the block is having volume V, so what is the volume of fluid displaced? Volume of fluid displaced is also equal to V. So volume of fluid displaced, that is V is equal it is equal to V, the volume of object itself. Now what is the mass of liquid displaced? And please note here I am telling you mass, not the weight, only mass. What is the mass of liquid displaced? Mass of liquid displaced LD. Mass of liquid or I can say fluid displaced, mass of fluid FD displaced is equal to volume of fluid displaced into density of fluid. Rho is the density of fluid. My fluid is water here, or it can be any other fluid whose density is rho. So this is your mass of fluid displaced. But according to definition of buoyancy, that upward force is equal to weight of fluid displaced. And how can we calculate weight using mass? If we multiply our mass by acceleration due to gravity, we get the weight. If I will multiply this mass, which is my volume, into density by acceleration due to gravity, I will get my buoyancy. So buoyancy is equal to mass of liquid displaced, that is V rho, multiplied by G, acceleration due to gravity. So buoyancy is also a force like weight. So unit of buoyancy is nothing but same as that of force, Newton. So this is very interesting concept, and it's natural to get confused while understanding this concept at the first time. But don't worry, I am with you. And in live class also I will discuss this and will take your doubts. But for now I can give you a brief quick revision of this definition. Whenever an object is placed in some fluid, it experiences an upward force which is equal to weight of fluid displaced by the object. So for calculating the value of B, we first calculate the weight of fluid displaced. But weight can be found by multiplying mass to acceleration due to gravity. For finding the mass of fluid displaced, we must multiply the volume of fluid displaced to the density, because that is the relation between density, mass and volume. If I multiply density by volume, I will get mass. If I multiply mass by acceleration due to gravity, I will get weight. So for finding the weight of liquid displaced, first I found mass of fluid displaced, and that is equal to volume into density, because density is equal to mass by volume. So my mass of liquid displaced is equal to V into rho, and when I multiply this mass V into rho by G, I know I am getting weight of fluid displaced. So what is the weight of this metal box outside the liquid and inside the liquid, greater, less or apparent weight, and all these things we will discuss in next lecture along with Archimedes principle. Till then, take care and study it well and note down in your fair notebook. Thank you.